What's up, BAMF Hammer Nation? Here we go with general warm-up number 2 using the 10-pound bitty BAMF Hammer. This is a great one if you've got a leg day coming in. Okay, we got 4 movements. We're gonna do some lunges and shuffles using the hammer to help position your feet and deepen the lunge position. We got some Ticktock lunges coming in as well. Just gonna give you something a little bit different to focus on during this lunge in the warm-up. We're gonna be doing some windmills with some shoulder eccentrics, which are gonna be nice. And then we've got some pullovers into good mornings, pullover deep squat into good morning. A lot of full range of motion on these last 2 movements, a little bit heavier on the concentrics when it comes to the first 2. So let's get started. To start with, we're gonna go with the hammer flat on the ground, okay? And the handle is gonna be pointing back towards my body. So this position is gonna force me to shuffle over and back, over and back. And that's gonna slow you down in this warm-up, which is the ultimate goal, okay? So I'm gonna start, I've got my right foot up on the lunge, I'm gonna drop the left knee down to the ground. Now, when I start up here, well, before we get to that, think about this. Where is your opposite hand? If you're really trying to create speed, explosiveness, and power, we can't think about the legs by themselves. We have to figure out where power comes from the rest of the body. So if my right leg is up, I'm really gonna focus on getting my left hand up to my face, all right? So just bear that in mind. If the footwork starts to feel pretty good, you can really accentuate this, make it a little bit more difficult, increase the athleticism of it by really focusing on what your hands are doing. So just stick that in the back of your noggin as the reps continue to go, as you feel more comfortable with this, just bear that in mind, all right? But what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna power up out of the lunge and switch feet, all right? My right foot goes back to the ground, left foot goes up onto the hammer. Now comes the shuffle where I'm going over the handle, which is pointed back to me. There's a flip over. Now I'm in a position, right foot up on the head, left foot down, and I'm gonna switch again and drop into the lunge on the other side. So there's the switch. Again, right hand's coming up because the left knee's up. A little bit faster. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And what I find often when I'm transitioning from the right side to the left side, I often end up stepping on the handle, but that's the point, forcing you to make bigger moves, all right? It's gonna slow you down as you get yourself started, and as it starts to feel more comfortable, you can speed this one up. So, boom, 1, 2, drop, 1, 2, drop. If footwork looks good, think about the hands. Every time I think about my hands, my feet get a little wonky. Every time I think about my feet, my hands get a little wonky, and it just forces me to slow down a little bit more, all right? Moving on, next thing we're gonna do is a Ticktock lunge. Now this Ticktock movement is meant to use the lower body to pulse the hammer through space, all right? It's really a quarter squat. We're gonna address that first, then we're gonna take it and add it to that lunge position. So a general Ticktock, all right, I'm gonna start with the hammer out in front of my body. Just like you would start with a regular swing, I'm gonna go up, pulse, 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 pulse. All I'm really doing is trying to rock back and forth on the bend of my knees, all right? Once you feel really good with that, what we can start doing is come up, okay? I'm trying to keep the hammer off my body, all right? So I want a lot of contraction through the wrist, squeezing the bicep, really getting my elbow in tight to my lat. Push that off, pulse, 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 lunge. Pulse, 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 lunge, all right? Take that 5 or 6 reps on each side. You'll really notice that it'll start to burn the quads quickly, and getting that elbow sucked in nice and tight. Should be a lot of contraction through the system as you're down at the bottom of the lunge. Should feel really loose, like you're creating a lot of power as you're moving through that Ticktock, right? Let's go to the upper body. We're gonna get some windmills with some eccentric motions for the shoulder, all right? So to start with, I'm gonna start with the hammer directly in front of my body, right off of my quad. From here, I'm gonna raise the hammer all the way up. Whichever hand is holding the hammer, so I got it in my left hand, I'm gonna shoot that left hip out, sons of my eyes. I'm gonna shoot that left hip out, drop down. I'm reaching for that right toe. And when I come up here, we've got 3 options I want you to go through. First, we're gonna take it straight out, okay? Straight up and down so the thumb's pointing up, and I'll bring that back down to the body. We'll take that up again, drop the windmill. Now, I'm gonna keep the palm flat to the ground, bring it down. Actually, we got 4 of these, we can go 4 through. Raise back up again, Drop the windmill, look up at the hammer. If you're looking at the hammer, it's a lot less likely to fall on your head. From here, we can go palm up, raise that, drop that back down. And last one, we're gonna raise it up, throw the windmill, woo, grass. And the last one that we're gonna do is I'm gonna go pinky finger up, so I'm gonna fully internally rotate and drop that back down. Hello, little bug, go away, moth. Okay, so you got 4 movements there. Go through that twice on each side. The shoulders will feel really good. We've got a nice stretch through the abdominal wall, 2 points. The last thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna throw a deep squat with a pullover into a good morning, okay? It's a great combo of movements. Use it to do a couple of things. We're gonna drop deep into the stretch, both in the squat and in the good morning, and it's a nice full body movement. So, got 2 hands on the hammer, all right? We'll start pullover. I'm gonna drop this pullover. Remember, we're gonna keep the abs nice and tight. What I don't wanna see is a lot of movement of the spine, so we're looking to brace here. I'm gonna pull over, trying to keep the elbows at 90 degrees. Sit into the squat as deep as you can go. And if you sit this hammer out, you can get that spine nice and tall. Now as I stand up, pull it close to the body, back to the pullover, and then I'm just gonna keep my elbows here, shoot my hips back, into that good morning. Feel the stretch, hold for a couple seconds, then stand tall, squeeze the glutes, pull over, nice deep squat. And there you go, nice and warm. General purpose warm up number 2. After you go 2 or 3 rounds of that, you can get a little bit more specific for whatever training you're doing on this day. Have fun with it, shoot some tape, let us know how it feels. There you go. That was a terrible sign off.